No, but I want to make it a thing. Elle always has a cool tea. Sarah always has something in the background.
Absolutely, that could be our thing. You want to know what tea I have today? I have a Bombay chai tea. And it comes in this weird triangular shape baggie with the
Interesting.
like leaves inside. Doesn't taste bad. And I do like chai latte, so I think like the tea is fine.
I just have the tried and true.
Wait, what do you have in your mug? What does it say?
Maker's gonna make.
Ooh, I feel like that's a song. Maker's gonna make, taker's gonna take. Ooh, look at this. Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
Why did we
okay.
start a podcast? We should have started as a band. Are we ready for this?
Let's rock and roll.
Hello everyone and welcome to Tea and Tales. I'm Nell.
And I'm Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us today. And especially thank you for following us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for commenting on our podcast wherever you're listening to us.
We especially want to thank Chantal Bernardi and Marilu Hayes for contributing to this community that we have created. As some of you might have noticed, I don't know, or some of you might have heard, I tend to like doing very weird and different phrases. Sarah and I decided that we are going to have a fun episode today because we have been going through a lot of serious talk these past few episodes. To take a breather and to, clear our minds so that we can tackle the next few episodes.
And if you're looking for a writing reason for this episode, just remember dialogue is dialogue. Remember to throw in fun stuff.
Hey ho, exactly. It should fit with your character, is what I'm saying. I don't know what happened. I think we were having a conversation and I was talking about like Afrikaans phrases that I just turn into English phrases. And then people are like, huh? Excuse? Like, excuse-moi, excuse you. And so one of the phrases I really love to use is, so in Afrikaans is, wel slaan my met 'n nat vis. So when you translate that to English, if you're surprised or because you're sarcastic and you're like, well, slap me with a wet fish. Which is why we decided that it's going to be the title of this episode. Slap me with a wet fish.
The phrase that started it all.
We've asked you to contribute to this episode, to share your favorite quotes, your weirdest quotes, your most used phrases with us so that we can talk about it on today's episode and we can explore it a little bit and have fun with it. So Sarah, would you like to start with the first one?
Absolutely. I have not looked at many of these. There's only two I know on the list because I put them there. So let's see. All right. Olivia McCarthy sent this in for us. Whenever someone asks, how did you do that? I always respond with difficulty. With great difficulty.
Which is actually funny because we have the exact same saying in Afrikaans. So we would be like, met moeite. Met moeite. 100% understand that one. Are you going to use that in the dialogue?
I feel that one in my bones. Like, that is, people sometimes are like, oh, it comes so easily to you. And it's like, oh, my dear, I wish you saw the times I was up until 2 a.m. trying to get this right.
Then you've never been a writer. If you're like, it comes so easy. No. So the next one is from Kendra Cook. Oh my goodness gracious. So she's Australian. She gave us this quote. And I was just, what? So I'm just going to read it. And then, we'll take it from there. How about that? Okay. Flat out like a lizard drinking water. And I hope all you chooks turn to emus and kick your dunny down. I feel I probably should have said that in an Australian accent, but I would like to not offend anyone.
What I love about this quote is I absolutely would not understand anything but emus and lizards, except that I have a 4-year-old that binge watches Bluey. So
Ooh.
I actually know what a dunny is, and I know what the phrases mean because I've had it in context before. I want to know why we want to kick our dunny down. I want to know.
Okay, but now you have to explain to me what a dunny is.
It's another word for toilet.
Oh, and kick your dunny down. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow.
Kendra, you need to specify. You need to let me know.
Yes. Flat out like a lizard drinking water. You know, I feel like I'm in English class right now and we are deciphering a poem. Flat out like a lizard drinking water. Feels like it's like a drunk person, right? Maybe. No, maybe.
I think this is saying, like, you're all weirdos and idiots and just turn into an emu and kick your dunny down and deal with the issues. Like, that's what I feel like it's saying.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But you know, also, when you read novels, and especially if you read novels that are out of the country you are born in, like if you read a novel from Australia, naturally the author would have their authentic Australian voice to it. First of all, that's why I love reading books. You learn about different cultures, you learn about different ways of living, and you learn different phrases, which is such fun.
It's funny that you say that, because when you're a fantasy writer and you're creating cultures, this is part of that culture that you end up creating as you write, because you can't have them just say what you would say in our culture. It's not our culture. It's, for me, one of the more stressful parts of the world building, but it's also, once you've built it, one of the funnest, because you just sprinkle it through the novel, just those little sayings and stuff. Just as immersive and great.
I will believe that 100%. You can have such fun with phrases and quotes for your characters to build them, to bring them to life.
Okay. My turn.
Yes.
Yeah. Liane says, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. And that's from Babe Ruth. You know what? Yes. Everything yes about that. It relates to everything that you do. If you're afraid that you're going to mess up, you're not ever going to get anywhere, because of course you're going to mess up. You've never done this before. It's like, if you don't try, you'll never know if you can get good at it.
100%. If you never send that first query letter, you are never going to know if someone might have liked your novel or if you could have been a published author. If you don't send that first draft of your first ever novel to someone so that they can read it and give feedback to it.
Yes.
And it does get easier. It honestly does. I remember when I sent out my first query letter, I was so nervous. And I think I rechecked and checked and checked my form that you have to fill in like quadruple times. Is this agent's name spelled correctly? Is there a comma where the comma should be? Then we have to do it all over again. Delete, and then we have to re-enter everything. And so it took me a while to actually, press send. Then I pressed send, and then I think that was a terrible addiction, because then I just sent like query letters willy-nilly. I'm like, whoa, query letter for you, query letter for you, get a query letter for everyone. And I was like, okay, we should calm down.
That's a little on the other end of the spectrum. Still need to be thoughtful about it.
This is a very good quote to keep in mind, because if you don't try, you'll never know. Our next quote is, our next saying is from Alicia McBride. And I'm super excited to have her on one of our next episodes. Can't wait. I love this one. But, she is South African, so naturally I understand what she is referring to. Everything that we say comes with an attitude. So everything we say comes with facial expressions. It comes with body language. So the one that she loves using is a phrase basically that she uses all the time. So sit back and close your eyes. Not if you're driving and listening to this. Please don't close your eyes. I do not want to be responsible for anything that happens. And then think to yourself, you are sitting in traffic right now, and the light has turned green, and you are, in your lane, going when you're supposed to be going. And then all of a sudden, this minibus, which, side note, in South Africa, we call it taxis. We don't have those yellow taxis that you have in New York City. You are releasing your brake, and then you are slowly accelerating towards your destination. And then all of a sudden, this minibus is squirreling right in front of you. And you're just like, oh my goodness gracious, my dude, you didn't even put on your flicker light, like your indicator. Like, what is wrong with you? And then she loves to do that, and she's like, rarig? Soos en rarig. So that's a whole facial expression. Like the eyebrows are lifted up. Side note, eyebrows lifting up. Great action tags to use for your dialogue. So you have to think about those things when you do write dialogue in your novels. Is when you are saying something. Don't tell me what you are saying. Show me what you are saying. All those little things. Just to say that rarig. And it's all in the tone, in the voice of tone as well. So she does it like rarig. So...
And what does that mean?
In short, it means like really. Like, really? That's basically just what it means.
Love it, and I love her. Okay, next one, Rose Lawrence. Okay, I don't know where you're from, Rose, but this sounds like such a Midwestern phrase, and I'm loving it right now.
She actually said that it's like a Welsh phrase.
Oh, is it a Welsh phrase?
Yes.
Oh, so well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is what she says. I'll do it now in a minute. Now in a minute. Sounds like the Midwestern. Yeah, no.
5 years from now, maybe. It's like,
I'll do it now.
We'll get there. But first, coffee. And second, you know what? I have this laundry that I should have been doing like 2 weeks ago. I will go do it now instead of writing the synopsis I had planned to write this afternoon.
It also feels like my entire vibe with my daughter. She'll come in and she'll be like, Mom, I need fill in the blank. And I'll say, okay, I can do that in a minute. Give me a second, finish what I'm doing. Then I'll come to you and I'll help you. So I feel like it's that entire
Luckily, she's tiny enough not to be like, counting down the minute, like you are out of time, let's go. We have something in South Africa which is quite similar, and people always mock us for it, which I find hilarious. But it's definitely a vibe that we're going with right now. So, well, we've always gone with it, but it's definitely a vibe we're doing. Ask me if I want to help you with something.
Role playing. Now, can you go and post this for me?
Oh yeah, I'll do that now. Okay, ask me a different question.
Now, we need milk. Can you go get milk?
Yeah, we'll do that just now. Ask me a different question.
Okay, now I feel like, okay, let's do this, but I don't feel like that's what you mean.
So we have basically 3 different types of phrases. We have like, I'll do it now. I'll be there now. I'll be there just now. I'll be there now. Be like, okay, I'll be there in like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I'll be there now. It's like, I'll be there in like an hour, in 2 hours. I'll be there just now means I can be there now or I can be there in 3 days, basically, is what we're vibing with.
No, I'm a very succinct person. My brain does not like this.
Yeah, it's such fun.
I want you to do this. So this one is from a friend of mine. And I want to hear your reaction to it.
Oh, alrighty. Okay, so this one is from Annika Sapp. Okay, so the quote that she gave is, don't give a Karen the wrong coffee. See, I feel like I had to say it with that attitude.
Yeah, it's a whole
because it just gives me, if there's ever a sentence with a Karen in it, I feel that's the vibe we're getting.
Oh, context needed,
Yep, they do like to ruffle their feathers 1000%.
Actually, I can see that from you. Like, you would be like, you're such a Karen. I'm going to give you the wrong coffee because I want to see you blow up and get, like, kicked out of this place because I never want to see you again. I can see that out of you now.
That is 100% me. 100%. Listen, I can be super spiteful. If I want to be spiteful today, I'm like 100% spiteful.
Well, you're so much of a, you know what? I don't have to know you, so I don't care if it makes you mad sort of a person.
It really is. It really is. I'm like, I have enough friends. I don't need more. Thank you very much.
I'm true to myself.
So who can I leave? Sarah, I'm eliminating you. We're not friends anymore. I'm sorry. My list is full.
Oh, darn it. I didn't make the cut. I'll try harder for next season.
Curses. But yes, don't give... Oh my goodness. Have you ever written a Karen in one of your novels?
Yes. One of the main supporting characters is a Karen. Like, she's a hardcore Karen. And you want to hate her. And all of my beta readers are like, I so hate her, but at the same time, I feel for her because of everything that ends up happening because she's being a Karen. It comes around showing how the personality type can be used incorrectly, but also correctly. Like in the next couple books, you start to see her turning that personality around into something that is enriching everybody, and she makes amends with one of the main characters at the end of this book. Spoiler alert. But that's why I wrote her in that way, though, because I'm like, it's not that the personality is a bad thing, it's how you decide to use it in the circumstances that you apply it to that is unnecessary, where it can be super useful in the right places. And so, yeah, I do have a Karen character, and I love her character arc so much. Everybody who's been read this first book hates her, and that's where I want you to be.
You know that you have done your writing correctly when readers come back to you and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't even stand this character. And you're like, success. Nailed it. Unless it's the person that's super nice and you're like, wait, what? are we reading the same character? Like, what's happening now?
I had that happen too with one of my characters because they were beta reading some sample chapters I was putting together for the second book, same series, second book. And they're like, I loved him in the first book and now I just want to punch him. And I'm like, oh, you're not supposed to have that feeling. Let me fix that.
Rewrite.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your feedback.
Actually, now I'm trying to think of, do I have a Karen in my novels? I don't know. I'm so confused right now. Do I have a Karen in my novel? I don't know anymore. Because here's the thing. Life is hard enough, which is why I write. Especially which is why I write romance. Because I want to have what I don't have in real life. So when I write, I just want it to be all flowers and teddy bears and butterflies and sunshine and cutie stuff. So I don't want mean characters in my novel. But then, I mean, actually you do have your antagonists who do tend to be mean for the protagonist to be able to, you know, overcome their conflict and stakes and all those things. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to say one of my favorite words that I love using, and then we will probably end with you saying your favorite phrase or word that you like. Are you ready for this? So I have too many phrases. I have too many phrases that I like, and I use so many of them. So my Afrikaans phrase that I love doing is bliksem. It has several meanings to it, depending on what you want to use it for. Like, you could, for example, say, I'm going to bliksem you, and then it means, like, I'm going to beat you up. And then the other one is like, if you walk and you stub your toe and you're like, "Hey, no bliksem." That's an expression that you use. Or if, for example, I walk and I drop my books that I have in my hand, I'm like, "Oh, nee, bliksem." And then I pick it up. So it has a lot of like meaning to it.
I'll give you my absolute favorite phrase was actually coined in our family. I don't know if other people use it. Mm-hmm. But in my family, it was coined by my niece, Maddie. She would say, "And that's how they get you." And I just love it, because now I'll be going along and I'll see some like commercial or something and I'll think, and that's how they get you. Or I'll get one of those spam emails. So my author page gets people all the time saying, "I can help you do blah, blah, blah with your book." And I'm like, what book? It's not even out yet. You've got nothing to market. You don't know who I am. Anyway, but I'll get those spam messages and I'll be like, and that's how they get you. Like, they're trying so hard and I appreciate you trying, but not today.
Spending the time on me. No, for me the best, like, if they message you and they're like, "Are you a writer?" And I'm like, if you didn't know that I'm a writer, then you should probably not be talking to me.
Exactly. Well, we hope that you have all enjoyed our episode today, got some laughs, maybe came up with some funny thoughts on your own. But we want to get your fingers back on that keyboard and pens back on their paper.
Yes, and if you want to be part of our next episode, where we're going to have so much fun and talk about things, then what are we going to talk about, Sarah?
Our next Slap Me With a Wet Fish episode, which will come in a few months, so you have time. This one is going to be spotlighting authors and novels you wish people knew about. So I'm not talking about the people that are super famous, the people everybody knows. I'm talking about that debut author, that self-published author, that person that you read that you don't think anybody else knows about, or that obscure novel out there that you just love and wish everybody knew.
Yes. And if you want to join us and see all the fun videos that we do and the behind the scenes that we jabber on about, please go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Tea and Tales Podcast, and on Twitter /X at Podcast Tea Tales, and on TikTok at Podcast Tea Tales.
Thank you so much for joining us. Happy writing.
Bye.